Alternative energy sources. When glucose supplies run low, the body utilizes other energy sources. These sources are used by the body in the following preferential order: other carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. These substances are first converted to either glucose or glucose intermediates, which can then be degraded in the glycolytic pathway and the citric acid cycle. A. Carbohydrates. Disaccharides are hydrolyzed into monosaccharides, most of which can be converted into glucose or glycolytic intermediates. Glycogen stored in the liver can be converted when needed into glycolytic intermediates. Fats. Fat molecules are stored in the adipose tissue in the form of triglycerides. When needed, they're hydrolyzed by lipases to fatty acids and glycerol, and are carried by the blood to other tissues for oxidation. Glycerol can be converted into pCal, a glycolytic intermediate. A fatty acid must first be activated in the cytoplasm. This process requires 2 ATP. Once activated, the fatty acid is transported into the mitochondrion and taken through a series of beta oxidation cycles that convert it into 2 carbon fragments. These 2 carbon fragments are then converted into acetyl-CoA. Acetyl-CoA then enters the TCA cycle. With each round of beta oxidation, a saturated fatty acid, 1 NADH, and 1 FADH2 are generated. Of all the high-energy compounds used in cellular respiration, fats yield the greatest amount of ATP per gram. This makes them extremely efficient energy storage molecules. Thus, while the amount of glycogen stored in humans is enough to meet the short-term energy needs of about a day, the stored fat reserves can meet the long-term energy needs of about a month. Proteins. The body degrades proteins only when not enough carbohydrate or fat is available. Most amino acids undergo transamination reaction in which they lose an amino group to form a keto acid. The carbon atoms of most amino acids are converted into acetyl-CoA, pyruvate, or one of the intermediates of the citric acid cycle. These intermediates enter their respective metabolic pathways, allowing cells to produce fatty acids, glucose, or energy in the form of ATP. Autotrophic nutrition. An autotroph is any organism that can manufacture its own organic molecules from inorganic molecules. Organic molecules contain potential energy in the form of chemical bonds. Some autotrophs harness the radiant energy of sunlight to form these organic molecules. This process is called photosynthesis and occurs in algae and multicellular green plants. Other simple autotrophic bacteria use chemosynthesis to obtain energy for the manufacturing of organic material. A. Summary of Calvin cycle. Carbon dioxide is fixed to RBP, ribulose biphosphate, a 5-carbon sugar. The resulting unstable 6-carbon molecules split into 2 molecules of PGA, phosphoglyceric acid. PGA is then phosphorylated and reduced by ADP and NADPH to form pGal. Most of the pGal is recycled to RBP by a complex series of reactions. In 6 turns of the Calvin cycle, 12 pGal are formed from 6 carbon dioxide and 6 RBP. The 12 pGal recombine to form 6 RBP and 1 molecule of glucose. pGal is generally considered the prime end product of photosynthesis, and it can be used as an intermediate food nutrient, combined and rearranged to form monosaccharide sugars, which can be transported to other cells or packaged for storage as insoluble polysaccharide such as starch.